When can you experience God? A beautiful question asked by one of my followers. And today I will answer. Albert Einstein says, "We have made the rational mind as our master, and we have completely forgotten the initiative mind. The servant has become the master, and the real master is being ignored, is being sidelined." The initiative mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift, says Albert Einstein. The calculations have become the master, and calculations cannot help you much. You may travel from A to Z, but then the doors close. Then you start suffocating. There is no way out. You are trapped in the calculations. The more you are driven by the mind, the more you are trapped in your calculations. A man who has moved beyond the mind can jump, can take the risk, can be courageous in the true sense. When people reach to the tip of the Maslow pyramid, when they have enough of wealth and money, then they start getting ideas about spirituality. And that is perfectly right, because it is only when you have enough or more than enough that you can truly start moving towards something that is beyond, unseen, unknown, the divine. But since the majority of these men and women have been following their head, and logic has been the only anchor to their life, they find it difficult to feel, they find it difficult to jump, they find it impossible to drop everything, because whole life they have been calculating, following the mind, the logic, and so taking the first step towards the unknown seems difficult to their calculating mind. My fellows, always remember, mind teaches you to be calculating, to be cautious, and sannyas is for the gamblers. It is not for the business-like, it is not for the calculators, it is not for the computers, it is for men, real men, authentic men who are always ready to listen to the challenge of the unknown, who are ready to go into the uncharted sea. There is no guarantee of the other shore. There cannot be any guarantee in sannyas. People who are logical, who are philosophers, are trying to know God. The head will always try to know. The head is important to feel, to experience. It can only know. And the greatest truth is that God cannot be known. God is unknowable. Remember, God is never known. He is not only unknown, He is also unknowable. And whatsoever you know of God is just your ideas about God, not your experience. Those who have experienced godliness have kept mum, have kept completely silent. They have not uttered a single word about it. They have indicated the way. Buddhas, the enlightened beings, point the way, but they never talk about the ultimate experience, the God experience. Guru Nanak, one of the greatest divine masters, never talked about the ultimate God experience, but he shared the ultimate way to experience God through the first few words that he uttered after experiencing God, after being with God. And those few words that he uttered came to be known as the Japji Sahib. And the whole incident, symbolic in many ways, is worth sharing. It happened so that Nanak was sitting on the bank of the river in total darkness with his friend and follower Mardana. And suddenly, spontaneously, without saying a word, Nanak removed his clothes and walked into the river. Mardana called after him, "Where are you going? The night is so dark and cold." But Nanak went further and further. He walked into the river and slowly he plunged into the depths of the river. Mardana waited, thinking that Nanak would be out soon, but Nanak did not return. Mardana waited for 5 minutes. When 10 minutes passed by, he became anxious. Where could he be? Where could have Nanak gone? There was no sign of him. Mardana started crying. He ran all around the river shore, calling to him, "Where are you? Answer me. Where are you?" He felt he heard a voice saying, "Be patient, be patient." But there was no sign of Nanak. Mardana ran back to the village. The whole village loved Nanak. They all had some sense, a glimpse of what Nanak was going to be. They had felt the fragrance of his presence, just as the bird gives the sign of its fragrance before it becomes a flower. All the villagers wept. They ran back and forth around the river shore, but no luck. Nanak was nowhere to be seen. 3 days passed. People thought that Nanak must have drowned. They thought that his body must have been carried away by the swift current of the river and perhaps eaten by wild animals. The village was drowned in sorrow. It appeared as if the whole village had become lifeless. The pain of losing one of the greatest master, Guru Nanak, was unbearable. But on the 4th day, Nanak appeared from the river, and the first words he spoke became the Japji. The God experience was expressed in the form of Japji. Japji Sahib is a Sikh prayer that appears at the beginning of the Guru Granth Sahib, the scriptures of the Sikhs. It was composed by Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism. It begins with Moola Mantra and then follows 38 stanzas and completed with a final slok at the end of this composition. The Japji Sahib is the first gift from Guru Nanak to the world. And so after 3 days, Nanak returned, but the Nanak who returned was also God himself. Then each word uttered by him became so invaluable as to be beyond price. Each word equal to the words of the Vedas. The Japji Sahib is one of the most revered holy scriptures for those who follow Guru Nanak. God cannot be known. Shallow people spend their whole life in figuring out who God is and how God is. The real fellows jump into the river and return only when they have experienced God. They cannot share the experience, but they can show you the way. Japji that Guru Nanak uttered was the way, the ultimate path to guide those who are thirsty for God experience. Have you seen a child? Look at the child. The child is full of life and full of heart. He or she can jump into the unknown because they have not yet become calculative as you have. As the child starts growing, slowly, the innocence fades away. And what comes is the hard, calculative mind. This is how you start moving away from God. This is how you start moving away from the truth. Innocence is the way towards God. You have to go into simple innocence. Just like a small child holding the hand of his father can go into the deep forest without any fear. Lions may be roaring, but the child has no fear because he knows his hand is in his father's hand. The child has full trust in his father. He is not worried, not afraid. He is enchanted with the whole journey, with the whole adventure. Such a simplicity is needed. Such innocence is needed. Only then can you take the risk. Innocence means there is no head, no logic, and love wells up only when there is absolutely no logic. Love is many things, none of them is logical. And so become a child, become innocent, and you will be able to do so when you walk on the path of truth, when you remain truthful to yourself. The moment you become innocent, you have found a direct line to the divine. Your heartbeat synchronizes with the heartbeat of the universe. You were born with innocence, but you die with absolutely no innocence within you, but only a dry logic. A man who seeks God must turn around, must drop the mind and move towards the heart. For the heart is innocent, the heart can trust, and the way towards the sky, the way towards God is only through the heart and not through the head. If light is in your heart, you will find your way home, says Rumi. The real home is the home within you. The real astrology is the astrology within you. Only few can understand this, and so only few can overcome the mind and experience the beyond. And one who can experience the beyond can realize the fact that astrology is not above God. Astrology is not above God. Always remember this, my fellows. You can correct the course. You can alter the course of your destiny. That is why you have got this precious human birth. But ignorant men and ignorant women have made astrology greater than God, and that is the greatest tragedy of this human world. In rural villages and the most deserted places, astrology and astrologers have literally locked up the freedom of individuality. They have spread so much of fear that men and women alike have become mere puppets in the hands of the astrologers. The situation is real. Even today, traditions and astrology and rituals and remedies have a very tight control on the lives of men and women who cannot do anything because they are compelled to follow the astrology. They are compelled to marry based on astrology and not love. And this is the greatest tragedy of human life. This is the peak of ignorance in which the whole society exists and compels you to exist and not live. The society wants you to mix with the crowd. The society hates individuals because individuals are a danger. They will not follow blindly. They will ask questions. They will raise doubts. They will simply deny to live like robots. And so, the society always fears the individuals. Always remember, the society is interested that you should be more skillful, more productive, and less creative. It wants you to function like a machine efficiently, but it does not want you to become awakened. It does not want Buddhas and Christs, Socrates and Lao Tzu. No, these people are not needed at all by the society. If sometimes they happen, they don't happen because of the society, they happen in spite of the society. In spite of the society, the real individuals cannot be stopped. Always remember, it is the individual that has shared the truth with the people. Guru Nanak shares the Japji Sahib. Jesus shares the truth. Buddha shares the truth. Truth happens only to individuals and not to the crowd. It is the grace of the benevolent master that enables one to come out of the crowd, come out of the mind, and rise, grow as an individual. Always remember, the function of the master is to undo what the society has done to you. There was a young man, and he always tried to become like Buddha, like Krishna, like Rama. And when he was 50 years old, one day he met a great Sufi saint. And the Sufi saint said, "You have wasted your whole life in becoming like somebody. You have simply missed to live your life by being yourself." The man, who was now no more young but had become old, 50 years old, started crying. His eyes became wet. He said, Now what? Now what to do? Half of my life is gone. I am already 50 years old and I am lost, totally lost. This is what happens when you try to become, when in reality, God had sent you to just be and not become. Just be yourself, don't try to become. You can experience God only when you can live your life by being yourself. And when you are able to drop the mask, that is the personality, and let the individuality within you well up, that is when you start becoming innocent. And the moment you start becoming innocent, the moment your life starts flowering in the soil of innocence, a day comes when the fruit starts appearing. That fruit is God experience. It comes through your own efforts. Always remember, no one succeeds without effort. Those who succeed owe their success to perseverance, says Bhagavan Raman Maharshi. Always remember, God is not on the outside. When Guru Nanak goes into the river, it is a symbolic representation of his journey within. And when he attains, when he becomes enlightened, when he experiences God within the river of his being, he comes back to this human world to share the nectar, the Japji Sahib, one of the most revered scriptures in Sikhism. He utters a few words. Those words are scripted in the Japji Sahib, and those words have become the torch, the pointer for his followers. Those divine words have helped many to become a light unto oneself. Guru Nanak says, even kings and emperors with heaps of wealth and vast dominion cannot compare with an ant filled with the love of God. How beautiful and how deep is this, my fellows. Guru Nanak had two close disciples. One was a Hindu and the other was a Muslim. Mardana was Hindu and Bala was a Muslim. Nanak is the confluence of the two rivers of Hinduism and Islam. He harvested the essence from both. There was a saying, Baba Nanak is the king of the fakirs. He is the guru of the Hindus and the saint of the Mohammedans. Nanak once went to Mecca. The priest there told him to be careful not to point his feet towards Kaaba while he slept. As the story goes, Nanak's reply was that they should turn his feet where God was not. And it is said the holy stone of Mecca turned wherever they turned his feet. The symbolism means only this: wherever you turn your feet, there God is. Where will you put your feet if He is omnipresent? God is everywhere, within you, without you. You simply have to start turning inward. That is the message of the Divine Master. That is the message of the Gurus. That is the message of God. That if you want to seek me, then you have to first seek yourself. Deep within the self is the light of God. Bhagavan Raman Maharshi says, the self is the Guru. Who is this self? This self is the consciousness. When you rise above the mind, when you realize yourself, then you are coming closer to God, because God is consciousness. God is the ultimate fragrance of your consciousness. The whole thing comes down to that one golden word, consciousness. Someday you all should read my book, Gift of Consciousness. That was my first published book. Always remember, everything is available to you. What comes in between is your mind. This mind is your own creation. The mind that you have in this birth is the result of your many past births and rebirths. The moon placement in your birth chart is the result of how you have been, what kind of thoughts you have been following, what quality of desires you have been holding through the many cycles of birth and rebirths. So if you are now becoming conscious, if you are now awaking to the higher cause of this human life, then you have to give time to yourself, because the karmic journey of many births cannot be changed in one night. Rome was not built in one day. Similarly, your new life, your transformation cannot happen in one day. You have to be patient. You have just awakened from a sleep of many births. The process of transformation is going to be slow. The way to experience the self, the way to experience God is going to be long way, a journey of million steps. But always remember, every long journey begins with a small step. The question must not be how many years it is going to take. The real question should be whether you are enjoying the journey within. Because when you start enjoying, when you start flowering, then the journey becomes the destination. then you no more are worried to reach somewhere. You are simply happy to be. Happiness happens when you fit with your life. When you fit so harmoniously that whatsoever you are doing is your joy. Once you are rooted within, once you are no more meditating, but you have become meditation, then no matter how long the journey is, no matter how many births will have to be taken, you are always found to be happy in bliss. What is bliss? Bliss means you have reached to the very innermost core of your being. It belongs to the ultimate depth of your being, where even the ego is no more, where only silence prevails. You have disappeared. In joy you exist a little bit, but in bliss you are not. The ego has dissolved. It is a state of non-being. Bliss is superior to happiness because bliss is something that wells up within you. Bliss is the next stage of happiness. Bliss is something that wells up through your inward journey, through meditations. So come you all and start meditating. A woman once asked, "Why you always talk about meditation?" I said, if I am talking 1000 times about meditation, then at least one fellow will wake up. And so the repeating is necessary. The reminders are necessary. Buddha's last word was samasti, meaning remember. My sharing or my answers and my blogs are simply a medium to help my listeners and readers to remember the forgotten language, the language of silence. Truth is found in silence. You have to first silence your mind and then drop the mind so that your real journey towards the beyond begins. Everything is available to you. Buddha, Jesus, Nanak, Mahavira, all the saints and all the scriptures are available to you. All you have to do is to start turning inwards. The inward journey begins only when you understand it clearly that anything outside is not going to give you contentment. Buddha says only two mistakes can happen on the journey towards the beyond. One, not starting, and the other, not going all the way. Once you set on the journey within, many challenges and many difficulties may come to distract you. But like a warrior, a courageous meditative being never gives up and continues with the battle within. Always remember, the greatest battle to conquer is the battle within. Buddha says to conquer oneself is a greater task than conquering others. A man may conquer 1,000,000 men in battle, but one who conquers himself is indeed the greatest of conquerors. Be the real conqueror, not of kingdoms and men on the outside, but conqueror of anger, conqueror of lust, of greed, of selfishness. For these are the real enemies. The real enemy is never on the outside, but within. The real enemy is your distracted thoughts. Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts, says Gautam Buddha. So start turning inwards, meditate and focus on your breathing. Listen to some soothing meditation music if you are a beginner. But always remember, when you meditate, you don't have to get distracted to thoughts that come and go. Instead, focus within. Focus on God's name. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly, you will start feeling good. The war in the beginning is always difficult, my fellows. The war in the beginning is always difficult. Many give up because they cannot stand the chaos within. But you should not give up. You should continue to meditate, because only a true warrior can meditate. Meditation requires tremendous courage. Let me tell you all that meditation is the greatest courage and the greatest adventure, because even on a battlefield you are not so near to death. Even if you feel you are near death, it is only a physical death. But in meditation, the death of your ego, of your illusions, your notions, your preconceived ideas, your learning is far dangerous than your physical death. Death to your body has happened many times, and many times you have again reappeared in a different body, in a different appearance. Jesus says to Nicodemus that to experience God, you have to reborn. This message of Jesus is the message to Nicodemus, that you have to first kill your ego, your illusions, your learning. Only when there is absolutely nothing within you that the divine can come to you, flow through you. To reborn, you have to die, but this death is not physical. It is the death of all those bad qualities, ignorance, that is stopping you from progressing in your life. You have to reborn. How beautiful and deep are these words, my fellows. Nicodemus could not understand in the beginning, but when Jesus explains to him the meaning of these words, Nicodemus starts crying. And Nicodemus is not a common man. He is the greatest scholar of Jerusalem. He is elder to Jesus. He was a very old man when he met Jesus. And yet that one moment was enough to bring a great transformation in his life. Nicodemus later becomes one of the 12 apostles of Jesus. Anything is possible when you have a certain depth of understanding, when you are a follower of your heart. Life is less of logic and more of love. Only a man who is following his heart can one day experience God. You can too experience God. All you have to do is to let the heart take over the mind, and then the real journey begins. The journey of peace and bliss. Love to all my listeners and followers. Raise the quality of your life by helping each other to become more meditative. Jai Sri Ganesha. Jai Guru.